These are some pictures from our trip up Wham Ridge. We backpacked into the Weminuche Wilderness and set up a base camp where we climbed a mountain called Vestal Peak along a ridgeline called Wham Ridge. We had to hike first down into the Animas River from the side of the mountain along the road, came down into the Animas River, it was like 1,700 feet downhill, and it was kind of cute, little stream crossings everywhere, but all we could think about was having to come back out in 3 days up that hill. This is the bridge across the Animas River. They did a nice job building a good sturdy bridge. The peaks we were going into were called the Grenadier Range, and we hiked along the train tracks for a little while. Actually, we hiked too far, missed our turn, had to hike uphill, but we got on track, hiked up the valley, up to where we had to turn to go up to our peak, Vestal Peak. And the turn was right by some beaver ponds, which were beautiful. The hike up to Vestal Peak turned out to be everything it was supposed to. Rugged, stepping over logs, going under logs, fairly steep, kind of muddy. But finally, after a couple hours of effort, we got into our campsite. It's pretty much right below Wham Ridge there. And we had a new tent we were just testing out. It was a super lightweight backpacking tent. Turned out to be very nice. We thought there might be bears in the area, and so we hung our food up on a stick. Somebody else had actually built that. Next morning, we got up real bright and early and started out. It was pretty cold. There was frost on the ground. That's the first rays of light hitting Vestal Peak. And we got up towards the base of our climb. As the sun came out, it got nice and warm, so it was going to be an absolutely beautiful day. No, not a cloud in the sky anywhere. We had to traverse over to the bottom of our climb, and then we started up. It was a pretty low angle at the start. There was a couple people came in behind us. You can see them down there. And we kept climbing up. That's Vestal Lake there, and our campground is in that meadow down at the bottom of the cliff on the left. Up towards the top, it got a little bit steeper, a little more interesting. The hard part was not to kick down any loose rocks, because there were a lot of them up there. There's a view up towards the top across the Grenadier Range. And then here's Archie starting to pack up. We knew that the hard part of the climb was actually ahead of us, and that was getting down from it. It was a long ways down through some very loose talus for the most part. Here you can see where we're headed, which is towards that white spot on that saddle there. We got down below it. It's called the Dews Collector, and it collected its dues, that's for sure. This is looking back up at our ridgeline. What a beautiful peak. We couldn't believe we did it. Well, we went to bed early that night, and in the middle of the night, we were awakened. We thought we were getting some bears in camp. Turned out it was these guys, some mountain goats. They get to be a real bother, I guess, and they came through our camp, kicked some stuff over. We thought it was a bear, but the guys next to us actually saw them and told us that the goats had come through camp. Well, at any rate, we hiked back up, got to our car, and drove back to our Chinook. Hope you enjoyed our story about our trip up Wham Ridge.